hips. Knees hip width apart with a slight micro bend. So today we're going to start with chicken wings. My arms are just lengthened up to the ceilings, palms face forward, elbows into your rib cage, hands to your thighs. Only if you want to, you're going to hands in front, you're on your tiptoes, chicken wings. Now this time you're going to do chicken wings, palms in front, elbows to waist, hands to thighs. Now you're going to interlace your fingers, lengthen your arms forward, dip your chin to your chest, and I'm stretching my upper spine there. Pull your belly button to the spine. Now you're going to face your palms in front. Lift your arms up to the ceiling, squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button to the spine. So my palms are faced in front. We're going to lean over to your right, squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button to the spine. Back to center, then over to your left. Squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button to the spine, really protect that lumbar spine. Stick out the hip and back to center. More chicken wings, face your palms in front, elbows to your waist, hands to your thighs. Only if you want to, you can come up onto your tiptoes, face your palms in front, elbows to your waist, hands to your thighs. One more. Lengthen your arms up to the ceiling, palms in front, elbows to your waist, hands to your thighs, interlace your fingers, lengthen forward, dip your chin to your chest, round and curl the upper spine, pull your belly button to the spine. Now you're going to face your palms forward, dip your chin to your chest, lengthen your arms up to the ceiling, and you're lengthening over to your right, squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button to the spine, stick out that left hip, back to center and over to your right. Sorry, it's your left. Stick out that hip, squeeze your glutes, and back to center. Just interlace your fingers behind your back, squeezing your shoulder blades together if you can, squeezing your palms together. And you're going to bring your hands as close to your hip as possible, your waist, over onto your right. And as you tilt your head over to the right, squeeze those shoulder blades together, really lengthening the head over to your right, feeling a nice deep stretch in the muscles in the neck and the top of my shoulders. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, only if you want to, you can come up onto your tiptoes. Automatically, I'm pulling my belly button to the spine there. You can feel I'm really working my core. Soles your feet. Really lengthen your arms down your back, squeezing your palms together, squeeze your shoulder blades together. You're bringing both hands over to your left hip. You can see mine's quite far over to your left hip, but it doesn't matter if your hands don't come all the way over. Tilt your hands over to your left, your head, sorry. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, only if you want to, you can come up onto your tiptoes. I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, feeling a deep stretch, the muscles in my neck and my shoulders. Lengthen those arms down the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, squeeze your palms together, and back to center. So we're going to roll down twice. The first one's Pilates Stamps. You're going to pick up your band, hold on to your hips. You're going to pick up your band on the second roll down. Hold on to your hips, stick out your bottom, pull your belly button to the spine. I'm being pulled by a piece of string, feeling a deep stretch in the muscles in my hamstrings and my glutes, micro bend in the knees. Pull that belly button to the spine. I'm not leaning forward and keeping my shoulders in my back pockets. Now let the top of your body hang, pull that belly button to the spine. It's okay to hold onto your thighs for support if you want to. As we roll down to the floor, push into the heels, tailbone up to the ceiling. And we're going to slowly roll up. So squeeze the glutes, pull the belly button to the spine. Protect that lumbar spine. It's okay to hold on to your thighs. And we're doing a second roll down, regular stance. Lengthen your arms up to the ceiling. Big ball. So you're going to dive over that big beach ball. It's electrified. So pull your belly button to the spine. Let the top of your body hang. It's okay to hold on to your thighs for support if you want to. As you roll down to the floor, push into your heels, tailbone up to the ceiling. You're going to take hold of your band. As you lengthen out to the right, up to the ceiling, pushing into your heels, tailbone up to the ceiling, and lengthen back to center. Remember, some of you might have blocks under your hands here, as you lengthen out to the left, maybe up to the ceiling, hips are set in stone, don't move the hips, and lengthen back to center. I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, tailbone up to the ceiling. Squeeze the glutes, round and fill the spine. I'm really pulling my belly button to the spine as I slowly roll back up and up into mountain. Some of you might want to come up onto your tiptoes. Some of you will glue your ankles together. Pray your hands together, arms in line with your ears. And open up your arms, mountain. And back down to the mat. We're going to do some squats, regular squats. So our knees are hip width apart. Remember, you're sitting into an imaginary chair. I want you to pull the band apart. So it's okay, if it's really too difficult, it's okay to hold on to your thighs like that if you want to, that's okay. And push into your heels and your thighs as you sit back up. But can you see I'm not leaning forward, I've got a nice straight back, I'm pulling my belly button to the spine. You want to challenge yourself a little bit more, sit into your seat, knees are hip width apart, don't let them do that, knees are hip width apart. Lengthen the arms forward, sit into that imaginary chair, pulling the band apart. Don't lean forward, look out in front, push into the heels. Take a breath in as you breathe out, really stick out the bottom, all the weights in your heels, float up those toes if you can. And the more I lengthen those arms forward, the lower I'll be able to get into my seat. Nice straight back, push into the heels. Let's do a couple more, sit to it. Doesn't matter if you're here, holding on to your thighs. Some of you might be a bit lower, lengthening those arms out in front, pulling your band apart, push into the heels. But it's really important your knees don't cascade inwards or outwards. Lengthen, deep into the seat, take the pressure out the toes. Knees do not come over the toes, push into the heels and back to center and just shake out your legs. Now you're going to let go of the band, you're going to come to the front of the mat, we're going to do a lunge. So you're going to step your right foot back. Your left knee is stacked over your left ankle. So you might have a deep lunge like this, you might have a shallower lunge. Just you choose the level that's good for you. I don't want you to lean forward, you've got to lengthen up, pull the belly button to the spine. You're going to lengthen your arms out in front. This really challenges your balance, works your core. I'm pulling the mat apart with my feet, and my feet are hip width apart. I'm not on a tight rope, my feet are hip width apart. I'm pulling the band apart with my feet. Arms out in front, palm to palm. You're going to open up your left arm, head follows your hand if it can. And back to center. Pull the belly button to the spine. You open up your right arm, head follows your hand if you can. I've got a deep stance here, doesn't matter if it's slightly lower, if it's slightly shallower. Hold on to your hips. Lengthen your right arm up to the ceiling, up and over. I'm flexing over to the side, opening my hip flexor. Pushing into my back heel, pushing my feet, pulling my feet apart. So I want to tear the mat, it really helps my balance. And back to center. Hold on to the left thigh, you don't have to, and step forward. My feet are hip width apart, helps with the balance. Step your left foot back. Right knee stacked over your right ankle. It's okay if your stance is here. It might be deeper. Pull the belly button to the spine. Lengthen your arms out in front, hands in line with my shoulders. And I open up my right arm. Head follows my hand. Lengthen up, squeeze the glutes, pull your belly button to the spine. Helps with your balance. Open up your left arm. Head follows your hand. Lengthen your arms away from each other and lengthen back to center. Hold on to your hips. Lengthen your left arm up to the ceiling and over. So I'm lateral side bend. I'm flexing over to the side, pushing into my left heel, feeling a deep opening of my left hip flexor, really opening that hip area and lengthen back to center. Hold on to your thigh, or maybe not, as you step forward and shake it out. Let's get down to the mat. So we step forward and just come to the mat. Now we're going to do a few spine stretches. So everyone's going to have working the triceps. So you're going to have the band around the arches of your feet. Remember, elbows tucked in tight. You're going to, I cannot come down that far today, so you're going to lengthen and lift your arms behind. Remember, if it's too uncomfortable with the band, you can still lengthen and lift your arms behind as high as they go, pushing your palms together. You can really feel it in the triceps. So lengthen up, pull your belly button to the spine, and I hinge forward with a nice straight back. Being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Those with lumbar spine issues, stay with a nice straight back. The rest of you round and curl. Elbows tucked into your rib cage. Lengthen and lift those arms behind. Flex the feet. Arms tucked in tight as I lengthen and lift my arms, pushing my palms apart. Elbows tucked in tight and roll back up. Lengthen up. We'll do a couple more. Hinge forward. Nice straight back. Pull the belly button to the spine. Flex the feet. Elbows tucked in tight to the rib cage. Lengthen and lift the arms behind, filling it in the triceps. Lengthen and lift those arms as high as they can go, pushing the palms together, being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Elbows tucked in tight. That feels so nice to stretch my lower back then and sit up straight. One more, hinge forward. Nice straight back. Now those with lumbar spine issues, keep the elbows tucked in tight, keep your straight back as you lengthen and lift. The rest of us round and curl. You can really feel that stretch in my lumbar spine. It's lovely. And lengthen and lift, pushing the palms up together. Roll the spine up, back to center and back to seated. Drop the band. Your feet are now mat width apart. You're lengthening your arms up to the ceiling. If that's too uncomfortable, keep your hands in front, in between your legs. Lengthen your arms up to the ceiling, hinge forward. Arms in line with my ears, nice straight back. Nice straight back, everyone's hands come down to the mat. Keep the straight back with lumbar spine issues, the rest of us round and curl. Then pull by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Flex those feet, see if you can come a little bit deeper, walk those hands a little bit further forward. And slowly restack your spine, one vertebra at a time, and back to center. Now we're going to slowly roll down with the assistance of the band, or level. We do it every week. Level 1, arms are in line, hands are in line with my shoulders. Level 2 or level 3. Just want to see your elbows in your peripheral vision. Relax the feet and legs. Lengthen up. Pull the belly button to the spine. Get into position, your position. So we lean back by an inch. Nice straight back. Now tuck in my pelvis. Scoop the pelvis, pull the belly button to the spine, relax the feet and legs as we slowly roll back. Scoop the pelvis. I'm turning that spine into a wheel, breathe. And I'm really tucking my tailbone under as I slowly roll down, one vertebra at a time. Slowly breathe. Keep those elbows open. If your elbows are coming inwards, lengthen to level 1. Slowly roll down and then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side, crossing your ankles, pulling your knees apart if you can. Just stretching that lumbar spine. Now keep on hugging the left leg, lengthen the right leg away, really relax, lengthen through the hip joint. Really hug that left knee to the chest. Bring your left knee slightly out to the side, thigh skins your rib cage. Then hold on to your hamstring, not the back of your knee, calf muscle, your ankle, or push into your heel. Start circling your ankle one way, then the other, still pushing into your heel. Now, some of you might want to float up your head and shoulders, a little bit of core work. Bend the knee, lengthen it away, bring up the right knee. Lengthen through the hip joint of the left leg. Really relax and really hug that knee to the chest. Bring the right knee slightly out to the side, thigh skins your rib cage, and hold on to your hamstring, not the back of your knee, calf muscle or your ankle. Push into the heel. Start circling the ankle. So we're mobilizing the ankle, but continuing to push into the heel to deepen the stretch of the muscles in the back of the legs. Lengthen and lift the head and shoulders for those who don't get any neck tension. Bring the right knee to tabletop. To your arms. Bring your right knee. Can you see horizontal alignment of my shins? Bring your right knee over to the left. and look in the opposite direction. Really stretching your lumbar spine, only if you want to. You can put a little bit of pressure on your knee to deepen the rotation in the spine. Keep those shoulders glued to the mat. Really relax the foot and the leg as you bring your knee back to center, and not the duvet, and back to center. Swap over, left knee tabletop, horizontal alignment, my shins, tread rings, and I'm bringing my left knee over to the right and I'm looking in the opposite direction. Keep those shoulders lengthened at T, keep the shoulders glued to the mat. And if you want to, you can put a little bit of pressure on your knee. Look in the opposite direction. Nice deep lumbar spine stretch. And then relax the foot and leg, totally switch off the muscles and bring the left knee back to center. Automatically, I can feel my core doing the work there. And back to center and back into supine. So we're going to go straight into a bridge and we're going to come up and down in one unit. So remove your block. So my feet come close to my seat bone. So I'm going to show you, you're going to progress. Only if you want to, you're going to progress. So you're going to push into your heels, squeeze your glutes, roll up your vertebrae, hips up to the ceiling. Let's take a breath in, see if you can come up a little bit further. Squeeze the glutes, knees are hip width apart. Now you come down in one whole unit, tap your spine on the mat and up in one unit. I'm going to take in another breath and see if I can come a little bit further. Down one unit, push into the heels, up in one unit. I'm going to push into the heels, see if my hips can come closer to the ceiling. Down in one unit, up in one unit. Taking a breath in, I'm going to see if I can come a little bit further, lengthen the knees away, down one unit. This can be done with one leg, up and down in one unit. Remember, push into the palms, push into the arms, thighs are in alignment. So you're going to swap over halfway if you're using one leg. Progression, you lengthen your arms up to the ceiling or over your head as you come up and down in one unit. And remember, see if you can get your hips slightly higher. So up in one unit, push into the heels. I'm going to see if I can come a little bit higher. Down in one unit, tap my spine on the mat. Up in one unit, a little bit higher, down in one unit. Pushing into the heels, not the toes, lengthening the knees away, up and down in one unit. So your arms might be over your head, lengthened up to the ceiling, or your hands might be on the mat. Now push into the palms if your hands are on the mat. Just work out those arms a little bit more. Swap over for those coming up and down on one leg. Remember, if you're coming up and down on one leg, I've got to really think about pushing into the heel. So I keep those hips nice and horizontal. Too much for me today. Let's just do a couple more. Up, see if I can come a little bit higher. Down, one more. Push into the heels. Hips up to the ceiling and see if I can come a little bit higher. Can you stay there? We're going to roll down one vertebra at a time. Little droplet of water is in between your hip joints. So you're going to roll the droplet of water over to your left hip, to your right, and you're slowly rolling down one vertebra at a time, rolling that droplet of water from your left hip, really mobilizing the pelvis, to your right hip, to your left, to your right. Keep those arms lengthened over your head. Roll down one vertebra at a time, and when your spine hits the mat, hug your knees to your chest, and rock from side to side. Some of you might want to do a little bit of a deeper spine stretch when you roll over. Joseph Pilates roll over, part your legs, flex your feet. I'm not going to do many of those today. Hugging your knees to your chest, bring the block underneath your head. Already I can feel, it feels absolutely lovely to stretch my spine. So I've hurt my back a little bit because of the dogs, and already I can feel it feels so nice. So we're back into supine. We're going to do the bicycle. You can do a one or two leg bicycle. You hug your knees to your chest. You lengthen your legs up to the ceiling. So if you're doing a one leg, can you see? You just keep one foot on the mat. Hopefully you can all see me, yes. So you're lengthening your legs up to the ceiling, 1 or 2 legs, and you're doing little bicycles. Slow and controlled. Pull the belly button to the spine. Remember horizontal alignment of your pubic bone and hip bone. Now, little cycles. Now, the aim is to get those cycles slow and controlled as big as possible. And you want your legs, your lengthened leg, as close to the mat as possible. But the cycles have to be slow and, oh, lovely. I can see loads of slow and controlled legs. Oh, they all look lovely. Oh, wonderful. Everyone looks like they have black leggings on today. Slow and controlled. Now, if you want to progress, you lengthen your legs up to the ceiling, your arms, up to the ceiling. If you want to progress further, you lengthen your arms over your head. If you want to progress further, you float up your head and shoulders. Really peel those shoulders off the mat. Those big cycles are slow and controlled. Swap over legs for those doing one leg cycle. So it's exactly the same as this, just with one leg. Now, only if you want to progress, you can try it. You can lengthen your arms forward and you can roll up, do a cycle, stick out the chest, and you slowly roll down, doing a cycle. You do 2 cycles, you lengthen your arms forward, and you roll up, and you slowly roll down. Let's just make a couple more cycles, slow and controlled. Really feeling that in my quads, but really feeling it in the core. Then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side unless you want to remove your block and do one of your Joseph Pilates classic rollovers. Don't push into the palms. Remember, it's your core slowly rolling your spine down, hugging your knees to your chest. And now if you grab your ball, put the ball between the knees. We do this one every week. We're going to drop our knees to the left and the right, so soles of the feet on the floor or tabletop. Now, if your soles, your feet on the floor, you've taken the pressure out of them. You're really anchoring your core. Pull your belly button to the spine. Melt your rib cage into the mat. Arms are at 2. So squeeze that ball. Squeeze the ball. Pull your belly button to the spine. Squeeze ball, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Feel your inner thighs working. Pull the belly button to the spine. Melt the rib cage to the mat as you drop your knees over to the left, look to the right, and lengthen out the top leg. Really lengthen the top leg, relaxing the foot. Bend the knee, squeeze the ball back to center, squeeze the ball over to the right, look to the left, and lengthen the top leg away. Relax the foot, lengthen, squeeze the ball. Squeeze the ball. Bend the knee, squeeze the ball back to center. We're going to do it one more time. Some of you might be at tabletop as you squeeze your ball over to the left. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Look to the right. Lengthen out the top leg. I cannot lengthen out my top leg. Where it goes underneath the bed. Squeeze, bend your knee, squeeze the ball back to center. Squeeze the ball over to the right. Look to the left. Lengthen out that top leg. Try to relax the feet, squeeze that ball, bend the knee, squeeze the ball back to center, pull the belly button to the spine and back to center. Drop the ball, hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Now keep on hugging that knee to the chest because we're going to do the single leg stretch. So I'm hugging, today I've said, today as long as you hug your knees to your chest, your knee to your chest, we're doing single leg stretch. Can you see I'm hugging, I always say right hand on right ankle, but it confuses so many people. As long as you hug your right knee to your chest, but try not to use your biceps, try to use your core to hug your knee to your chest. So my leg is thin glass, so I'm hugging my knees to my chest, more using my stomach, my muscles in my stomach, my core, then using my biceps, the muscles in my arms, and then we swap over. I lengthen my right leg, hugging my left knee to the chest. And then I hug my right knee to the chest. Single leg stretch. But really lengthen through the hip joint. Try not to put too much pressure on that leg, you're hugging to your chest. Use your deep core muscles to do the work. Now, the aim is to lengthen those legs as close to the mat as possible. You're going to hold it for at least 2 to 3 seconds. So hugging my knees, my chest, lengthen. Now, if you want to progress, you don't have to float up your head and shoulders. You can just rest your hands underneath your head as I'm totally using my core to hug my knee to my chest. Closer your legs are to the mat, the more you're going to challenge your core. Remember, pull that belly button to the spine. So some of you might be doing this. Still try to rest those hands underneath your head. Just makes it much harder. If that's too difficult, you use your hands and hug your knees to your chest. So this is level 1. Closer your legs, the closer your lengthened leg is to the mat, the more you're challenging your core. Level 2, just rest your hands underneath your head. Level 3, you float up your head and shoulders. So you choose the level that's good for you. My legs are quite close to the mat, but yours might be slightly higher. But really use those deep core muscles to hug your knee to your chest. Let's just do a couple more. Lengthen, hold for a couple of seconds. Lengthen, hold for a couple of seconds. Then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Or some of you might do your roll over. Flexing your feet and slowly rolling down 1 vertebra at a time. Full body stretch. Lengthen your toes and fingers away from each other. Lengthen, lengthen. And then you're going to roll over to the side and we're going to do the classic oyster today. So with or without a loop band around your thighs. So I'm in one straight line. You're always going to feel like you're being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. You bend your knees forward. So the soles of my feet are in line with the bottom. So the soles of my feet are in line with my bottom. My bottom is in line with my shoulders. I'm one straight line. So my knees aren't here. My knees aren't behind. So you're going to float up your feet if you can. If that's too uncomfortable, keep them rested on the floor. So head position, lie on your arm, or you might want your head in your hands, or you might want to come up to your elbow. So you choose the level that's good for you. So you're going to float up your top knee. Pelvis doesn't move at all. Pelvis stays completely vertical. You're holding it for at least 2 to 3 seconds. Float up those feet unless they're rested on the floor. Oyster, just opening and closing. Remember, you look out in front and you're being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, shoulders down your back pocket. Open, hold for at least 2 to 3 seconds and back to center. Now, if this feels good for you, just stay at this level. Pelvis doesn't move. Shoulders are down my back pockets. I'm going to lengthen out my leg now. Look at my thigh, look at my knee. It's not moving. I'm lengthening out my leg. You come around the saucer. I'm not moving my ankle, hinging from the hip. Saucer one way, saucer in the opposite direction. Knee doesn't move. I bend my knee, foot to foot, knee to knee. So it's really important. So you open up that knee. See if you can take a little breath in and open up a little bit further. Little vertical pelvis there. Look at my knee and thigh. I'm not moving. It stays in the same position. Lengthen out. Around the saucer one way, hinging from the hip. Around the saucer in the opposite direction. Bend the knee, foot to foot, knee to knee. So you choose the level that's good for you. You might be opening and closing, but still see if you can open a little bit more and then close, while those who want to progress, you lengthen out your leg around the saucer one way, around the saucer in the opposite direction. Bend the knee. Now some of you might be up on your elbow. Lift up that waist. Lengthen out, smaller range of motion. Really feeling that in the glutes. This one's really good for a bad back, actually. And the final level, you put your hands on your forehead. But remember, look out in front. Shoulders are down your back pockets. And I feel like I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Round the saucer one way. I'm going to come down a level. Round the saucer in the opposite direction. Let's just do a couple more. So if you feel tired, just come to opening, closing your leg, just opening and closing. See if you can hold it for 2 to 3 seconds. You lengthen out. Round the saucer one way. Round the saucer in the opposite direction. Bend the knee. This is our last one. And then just pat it out. We go straight into open book. So you can open your book with a band, a weight, or both. So you can wrap the band around your weight. So remember, you can also have weights on your wrists and your ankles, which I'm not doing today. But you can always progress. So I'm lying on the edge of my block. My knees are bent in front. You're lengthening your top leg diagonally across. My top leg comes across my bottom ankle. Remember, if you don't want to incorporate the leg, just keep it lengthened diagonally across. The rest of us, lengthen and lift it at hip height. So I'm going to lengthen my top arm longer than my bottom. Head follows my hand. And I'm going to increase the range of motion of my leg. Oh, my leg's not going very far today. And then I close my arm and swing my leg behind, really opening the hip flexor, lengthen, lengthen. I lengthen my top arm longer than my bottom, head follows my hand. Lengthen my arms away from each other, and I'm trying to increase the range of motion. So this is a really deep stretch for your hamstrings, your lumbar spine, your glutes. You can tell I've got really tight lumbar spine today because my range of motion so much smaller. Close your arms, swing your leg behind, hip height. Don't drop the foot. You want to stretch, but you want to work those glutes at the same time. Head follows my hand. Increase the range of motion of my leg. Remember, with the second breath, see if you can come slightly deeper. Swing the leg behind it, hip height. This is the final one. Just bend your knee and just pat it out. We're going to go straight into bridge now, a different type of bridge. And today's bridge is, oh, what was today's bridge? Today's bridge is, oh my gosh, what was today's bridge? Today's bridge is, oh yes, fly bridge. So you're going to come up into your bridge and you're flying your right arm out to the side and you're flying your left arm out to the side with or without your band or your weights. Now the progression is when you fly your right arm out to the side, you can lengthen your left leg, but that is a progression, it's quite tricky. Left arm out to the side, you lengthen your right leg. So you choose the level that's good for you, whether you want to incorporate the legs or just using the arms. So if you can, it'd be great if you can have a band. It'd be great if your band can sit around your hips. Feet close to my seat bones, push into the heels, push into the palms, use your arms, really push into the palms, lengthen the knees away, hip width apart, don't let them glue together. And you're lengthening your arms up to the ceiling, pushing into those heels. You're going to lengthen your right arm out to the side, pushing into the heels, and you're going to lengthen your left arm out to the side. Some of you will lengthen the opposite leg, but don't drop the bottom or rock the hips. Tuck in your pelvis, C-curve your spine, roll down one vertebrae at a time. Every single vertebrae trying to hit the mat. And you come back to center. I'm going to do that again. Band nice and tight around my hips. Pushing into my heels, push into the palms. Use the muscles in your arms. See if you can come a little bit higher. Those hips, squeeze the bottom, lengthen the knees away. Arms up to the ceiling. You're lengthening your right arm out to the side. Some of you might choose to lengthen your left leg. Back to center. You're lengthening your left arm out to the side. If you're lengthening out the right leg, push into the left heel because you want your hips to stay in alignment. And back to center. Really scoop the pelvis. I'm really tucking in the pelvis. I'm trying to hit every every single vertebrae on my mat from top to bottom. And your hands either come back to centre and you start that bridge again, or some of you are going to come into your crunch, either holding on to your hamstrings for sport, or lengthening your arms out to the side for bridge. No, it's called boat actually. Remember, you can hold on to your hamstrings and teaser. Stick out the chest, protect your lumbar spine. Back into boat. Remember, you can hold on to your hamstrings. And we slowly roll down. Let's just do another one. So you stay at the level that's good for you. Knees are hip width apart. Pushing into my heels, pushing into my palms, taking on tension of the band. Lengthen the knees away. Arms up to the ceiling. Lengthen the right arm out to the side. Some of you might be lengthening out that left leg. I'm pushing into that heel, so I've balanced my pelvis there. Lengthen the left arm out to the side. I'm going to lengthen out my leg. You don't have to incorporate the leg. Pushing into the left heel because I'm balancing my pelvis there. And back to centre. Tapping the pelvis. See, curve the spine. Every single vertebrae trying to hit the mat. Back into supine. Either come back to centre, starting your bridge again, or some of you, we're going to do our final boat. Final teaser, stick out your chest, protect that lumbar spine, nice straight back, boat, and slowly roll down, hugging your knees to your chest and rocking from side to side. Some of you might want to do your Joseph Pilates rollover and full body stretch. Pull your belly button to the spine, melt your rib cage into the mat. Going to slowly roll to the other side. Just do it slowly. Don't want to get a head rush. Slowly. And we're going to go straight into oyster. You can choose if you want a loop band around your thighs. So I'm in one straight line. Alignment, ankles, knees, hips, shoulders. I'm in one straight line. I bend my knees in front, but my ankles and the soles of my feet are still in line with my hips and my shoulders. That's really important. So keep rested on your arm if you want to. Head in your hands. Some of you might want to progress up to your elbow, shoulders stacked over your elbow, unless you're holding on to your temples. So you're going to float up your feet. You don't, if it's too uncomfortable, keep your feet on the mat. So you're going to float up your knee, relax the feet, pelvis completely vertical, main trunk of my body doesn't move. I'm holding it for 2. And back to center. Take a breath in. Lower the knee away, float up those feet. See if you can open a little bit wider. Pelvis doesn't move at all, it's vertical. Can you see the main trunk of my body is not moving? Open up. So you're going to open and close while some of us, look at my knee and my thigh, doesn't move at all, so you lengthen out your leg. Relax the foot, and you come round the saucer one way, hinging from the hip, and round the saucer in the opposite direction. Bend the knee, and close your knee. You open up. Hold for a couple of seconds. Lengthen out, knee doesn't move, lengthen out, around the saucer one way, and oh, lovely straight legs I can see there, lovely, foot to foot, knee to knee, really firing up those glutes. This one is really good for if you've got some lumbar spine issues, so this is great for me this morning actually. Round the saucer one way, round the saucer in the opposite direction. Remember, look out in front. You're being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Pull the belly button to the spine. You want to progress, come up onto that elbow. Lengthen out, really gets into your glutes and thighs, but really works the deep core muscle there. I think my knee was moving a little bit then. So really concentrate. My knee mustn't move, lengthen out. Round the saucer, don't move the feet, hinging from the hips. Float up the back foot, even my back foot's dropping then. So really think about, don't move the feet. Open up, Lengthen out. Round the saucer one way, lift up the waist, or round the saucer in the opposite direction. Let's just do one more. Glutes are on fire now. This is the progression. Oh, dear, sorry. My phone's ringing, sorry. That's not very good, is it? Sorry, guys, my phone's ringing. Sorry, guys. My phone's not actually in this room. Just do one more and then pat it out. Oh gosh, and now I've lost you all. One more and just pat it out. Now I can see you. Sorry about that. My phone's not in the room, so I haven't put it on silent. Hopefully it won't ring again. Okay, and just pat it out and we go straight into open book. So you can open your book with a band or a weight or both or nothing at all. Bend your knees in front. Lengthen and lift the top leg diagonally across. Head stays glued to the edge of the block. You don't want to use your leg, just leave it rested diagonally across, but still lengthen it. So you've got a nice deep stretch down the lateral side. Band in your hand with your weight. Lengthen your top arm longer than the bottom, head follows your hand, and increase the range of motion of your leg. Close your book and swing your leg behind. Lengthen, lengthen. I lengthen my top arm, longer than my bottom, head follows my hand. See if you can just take a breath in, see if you can come a little bit deeper. Close your book, swing the leg behind, hold for a few seconds, really open that hip flexor there. One more, really lengthening my top arm, head follows my hand. Keep that leg hip height, don't forget. So I think I can't come any further. I'm going to have a little rest and see if I can come a little bit deeper. That feels lovely, stretching my lumbar spine there. That feels really good. And lengthen and lift the leg behind. Let's hold it for a few seconds. Bend the knee and just pat it out. So we're going to go straight into prone now. We're doing classic classic diamond today, where we're going to lengthen and lift head and sternum and salute. But I'm going to take you through the progressions. Only if you want to, you can have a loop band around your ankles. Now, for those who struggle at diamond, you're going to lengthen opposite arm and leg. Remember, you don't have to incorporate your arm. You bend your knee and you salute your left hand as you bend your right knee. Lengthen out. You're going to do 2 to 3 of those, and then you're going to swap over. So you lengthen out. Hip height, shoulder height, salute, bend your knee. 1. And you're going to do, see if you can lengthen out, but hold it for at least 2 to 3. Where the rest of us were in diamond. Some of you might want to put a little loop band around your ankles. Classic diamond today. So your feet are mat width apart. You're resting your forehead on your diamond hands. You're squeezing your bottom, pushing your belly button, pushing your pubic bone into the mat, pulling your belly button to the spine. I'm going to take you through the progressions. So you lengthen and lift your head and sternum. You're being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. And if you can, I want you to lengthen and lift one leg. Lengthen and lift and back to center. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Roll the marble forward. Lengthen and lift your head and sternum. Look down in the mirror and you lengthen and lift opposite leg. Relax the foot. Lengthen, lengthen and back to center. Now, if you want to progress, you glue your left hand to your forehead. You lengthen and lift head and sternum. Left hand glued to forehead as you lengthen and lift right leg. See if you can hold it for at least 2 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds. Back to center. Roll the marble forward, lengthen, lift head and sternum, right hand glued to the forehead. Lengthen and lift left leg. I'm going to take a breath in. I'm going to see if I can come a little bit higher on my second breath. And back to center. Salute, left hand to my forehead. Lengthen, lift right leg. Take a breath in. See if you can come a little bit higher. And back back to center. Can you see I have a band around my ankles and making it more of a challenge? So I'm up there. I'm going to take a breath in. I'm going to see if I can lengthen and lift for a little bit higher. Back to center, swap over. Lengthen and lift. Take a breath in, lengthen and lift. And back to center. This can be done if you can come up and down a level. So you might lengthen and lift up, head and sternum only, and one leg. You take a breath in. See if you can come a little bit higher. So you don't have to incorporate the arms. The salute. Lengthen and lift. See if I can come a little bit higher. Lengthen and lift. Only if you want to. Double leg lift, double salute. Lengthen and lift. Take a breath in. Lengthen and lift a bit higher. And back to center. Let's do a few more. Lengthen and lift. So you either do single salute or double, or you don't even incorporate the hands at all. Let's make it our final one. Lengthen and lift. On the second, you're always going to try and come a little bit higher. Back to center, capital E your arms. Rock your hips from side to side. Just washing out any tension you have in the lumbar spine. So we're going to turn it into Cobra, Lizard, then Cobra. Feet are mat width apart. Your arms are at capital E. Can you see my elbows are in line with my shoulders? Now, if you want to deepen that lizard, can you see I'm more of a, so if you want a really deep lizard, you're in that Sphinx pose. Can you see what my shoulders are over my elbows? So you're either here, or your elbows are closer to your shoulders, or your elbows are completely under your shoulders. When we do this stretch here, it's just a bit of a deeper stretch. So you just choose the level that's good for you. Arms are at capital E, unless those elbows are slightly closer. Roll to your shoulders. Roll the marble forward, lengthen and lift your head and sternum. Chest out to the sun, shoulders down your back pockets. You're pushing into your right hand. Look over your right shoulder. Look at your left foot, your right foot if you can. Maybe your right glute. Some of you might want to bend your left knee. Opening those hip flexors. And lengthen back to center. So I'm going to roll the marble forward. I lengthen and lift my head and sternum. And I'm trying to get my chest out to the sun, shoulders down my back pockets as I push into my left hand. Look over my left shoulder, looking at my left foot, maybe your left glute, as you bend your right knee. Bending that knee is a progression. Right elbow stays stuck to the mat. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. We're going to come into full Cobra now. You roll the marble forward. If you want to deepen that stretch, your hands are underneath your shoulders, elbows tucked in tight. Roll the marble forward, lengthen and lift. And pushing into both hands, feet are mat width apart, chest out to the sun, shoulders down your back pockets. Or some of you, elbows, your hands, might be underneath your shoulders. Pelvis glued to the mat. Everyone comes, puts their hands underneath their shoulders. You come into cat and cow. Now, for those who struggle on their knees, you're going to do like we did just now. You're going to do your salute, lengthening your opposite leg, lengthen that arm forward, and you're going to flex to the side. You're looking down at your thigh and lengthen back to center, salute. Can you see what I'm doing? So I lengthen and lift. Opposite arm and leg, saluting my hand on my forehead. Left arm lengthened out in front, all the way down to your thigh. Look down at your thigh, back to center. That's for those who struggle on their knees. Can you see what I'm doing there? Saluting, look down to the thigh and back to center. The rest of us, hopefully you've been doing your cow, sticking out your bottom, lengthening your head forward, space between your shoulders and your ears. Round and curl, pull that belly button to the spine. Look down at the belly button, squeeze the glutes. Some of you might want to tuck your toes under. Float your knees no more than 1 centimetre. Stay in that turbo cat for some of you. You want to challenge your core as the rest of us stick out to our bottom. Lengthen your head forward, creating space between the shoulders and ears. One more cat. Maybe some of you turbo. Float up those knees no more than 1 or 2 centimetres. Rounding and curling the spine and into 4-point kneeling. So 4-point kneeling today. is with or without a band, similar to what the prone are doing. So you're going to lengthen out your left leg. You lengthen out your right arm. And you lengthen. And you're lengthening your arm all the way down to your thigh as you lengthen your leg out to about 30 degrees. Bowl of soup. It's on my pelvis. Lengthen your arm back to center. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds. And back down to the mat. So you're going to lengthen out right leg. Don't have to incorporate the arm. Lengthen out left arm. Left arm comes all the way down to your thigh. Stay at shoulder height if you can. Lengthen the right leg out to 30, 40 degrees. Stay at hip height if you can. Lengthen all the way back to center. With or without a band. This can be done at plank. You start with your arm and then you start with your leg. I'll show you in a minute. So you lengthen that arm all the way down to your thigh. Left leg out to 30, 40 degrees. Lengthen all the way back to center. Now, if you want to progress, you lengthen out. Lengthen the arm all the way to the thigh. Leg comes out, 30, 40 degrees. Lengthen all the way back. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds. And then you do another one. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds. And back to center. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds. So you're either going to do 1 or 2. Maybe you want to do 3. So I'm lengthening out to my thigh. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds. Either come back to the mat and do the other side, or you might want to do 1 more. It's all about absolute stability. I've done 2 there. You might want to do 3. Plank, hopefully, if you do plank, you lengthen your arm all the way to your thigh. Then you do your other arm. Then you do leg. I think it's quite impossible to do, well, it might be possible for some of you to do leg and arm at the same time. Make it your final one. Then we're going to all come back into child's pose. Everyone glue the big toes together. Sit on your heels, lengthen your arms forward. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing very well. I meant to finish now, aren't I? Okay, we'll finish in a minute. So lengthen the arms forward, pushing your chest into the mat. Walk over to 10 o'clock, right hand sits on left. Back to center and over to the right. Left hand sits on right, feeling a nice deep stretch. Back to center, let's see, curve our spine, squeeze our glutes. Let's do a thread the needle and then we're going to have to come straight to seated. So make sure you're stacked, pull your belly button to the spine, lengthen your right arm out to the side, maybe up to the ceiling, pushing into the left hand. Then lengthen the arm back to center, right hand threads underneath left, pushing into the left hand. See if some of you can look up to the ceiling. Some of you might want to lengthen and lift the left leg, and then swing the left leg out to the side so you unthread your right arm. Keep that left leg nice and straight. Thread the needle and lengthen back to center. We'll do the other side. Left arm out to the side, up to the ceiling. Pushing into the right hand. Lengthen, lengthen back to center. Lengthen, left hand threads underneath right. Look up to the ceiling if you can. Some of you might want to lengthen and lift your right leg, keeping your hips flat. Or some of you might want to try and swing that right leg out to the side, nice and straight. So we lengthen out to the side, up to the ceiling. And lengthen back to center. Can we all come to seated? Sorry, I didn't realize the time. We're going to all come to seated. Sit on your block if you can. Sorry, we're not going to push into the ball today. Lengthen your right leg forward. Hug your left knee to your chest. Hold on to your knee. Lengthen your left arm up to the ceiling. Look over your left shoulder as you place your hand behind, pushing into your knee, pushing into that left knee with your hand, or maybe pushing into that knee with your elbow. For some of you who weren't here right in the beginning, I'm going to have to just finish it a bit early today because I've got snow on the hill, so I've got to get to the haze way, the long way round. Lengthen your left leg forward, hug the right knee to the chest, hold on to your knee, lengthen your right arm up to the ceiling, up and over, look over your shoulder, pushing into the knee, look over that shoulder, the right shoulder, push into the knee with your hand or maybe your elbow. Sit up tall, nice rotation of the spine, and back to center. We're going to come to 4-point kneeling. You're going to tuck your toes under. Pilates Stamps if you can, pushing into your heel, tailbone up to the ceiling, let the top of your body hang, or hold on to your thighs, as you slowly restack your spine, one vertebrae at a time. And back to center. Nice big arm circles. Only if you want to, tiptoes, soles of your feet. Squeezing your shoulder blades together. Opening your chest, or some of you might want to stay onto your tiptoes. Stay on your tiptoes. Focus on a point out in front. Pull the belly button to the spine. One more. And back to center.